Welcome to another episode of the Jarring Science Club. I'm your host, Brenda, and today we're going to be learning about a process that shapes the Earth slowly, which is rock formations. We're going to be making our own model of a rock in a jar to kind of see how the process works in a much accelerated time frame. Here's what you need. A jar, something to stir your rock bits up with, some dirt and some other things like rock, sand, whatever you can find in your yard, and some glue. All right, let's get started. Okay, we're here up close so we can start mixing up the supplies in our jar to make our little rocks. And Amy's here helping me. So first we're gonna add in some dirt and our rocks and our leaves and everything else in there. It doesn't have to be a big rock. Now we're gonna add in some glue. Give that a stir. You might find it helpful to add just a little bit of water to your jar to help things get stuck together a little better. Now I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes to let it start to harden a little bit before we start forming our actual rock. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and we're gonna take the rock materials here and try to compress them together to form the rock. And it's still gooey from the glue. The glue's not fully set yet. So we're just trying to press it all together to make a rock shape. Here's one rock. If you need to add a bit more glue, you can. Now we're gonna let our rocks harden for 24 hours and then we'll come take a look at them. Here's what our rocks look like up close. You can see all the bits of sediment and other rocks and dirt in there. And if this were real rocks, if these were real rocks, over time, they would harden and become as hard as the rocks you see in mountains and rivers today. Here's the science. Rocks form when erosion happens, when sediment is moved from one place to another, and when soil and organic material get slowly compacted over millions of years. This eventually hardens and forms into rocks. Some rocks are formed by mineral deposits getting left out, like as you'll see in caves or crystals. These are mineral-based rocks, whereas organic material-based rocks will turn into the types of rocks you typically see on the surface of the earth, like mountains and limestone and your softer kinds of rocks. In our experiment, we accelerated the process of rock making by mixing up everything that you would find in an organic type of rock, compressing it together, and then using glue to hold it together. Of course, in nature, glue isn't used to hold the rocks together, but the process does take millions of years, which we don't have time for in our experiment. Scientists often use rock formations and rock layers to tell how long ago events happened. Looking at rock layers is one way that scientists can tell at what point in the Earth's history something happened or when it was formed. A lot of what we know about the Earth is because of this process called carbon dating, where scientists look at the age of the carbon in the rock layers of the Earth and can tell approximately how long ago those events happened. Because there are different factors that go into the formation of rocks at different periods, when you cut into the side of a mountain or something like that, you can usually see very distinct layers from different parts of Earth's history. Some of those layers may have formed quickly because of like a volcano or a landslide or something like that, and others may have occurred much more slowly just due to the process of time passing, slower erosion, wind, and just what sort of creatures and things were living in that area at the time. That's it for today. See you next time.